So now we will check the XHorse key reader. Here I have to say I already used it one time and checked it out before the first client bought his device, just to make sure that I can help him with setting it up. So it comes in this nice little box. Obviously we have to remove it. Just a small manual. Then the key reader itself. And a charging device. The charging device is with an US plug system. So which is not included is that we need a converter. In this case it's a multi-converter. Obviously you just would need US to Europe in our case, or whatever you want to use. It will show up here XHorse, and let me also start my screen recorder again, because it's going to be connected with the phone again. The same with the machine, we can connect both at the same time. So let's first connect the XHorse machine we showed you in the last video. This one now is connected, and I can then say on my app I want to use the optical identification, and then what the device doesn't do is it will not identify the profile, it will only identify the actual cutting. So if you have this HU66 key, it doesn't realize it's an HU66 by looking at the font or something. It will only look at the bitting and tell us the bitting. So if we go now and say, okay, this one is a Volkswagen 6. So normally we would now put in the machine, do the decoding process, and as you have seen in the last video, it needs a little bit. So with the key reader we can just go and say, okay, we want to identify it, and all we're going to do is we connect to the device automatically. It's now connected. We can click on here, we put our key in until the end, click again so it's closed, and say identification. So it's identifying, and it shows us a picture of the key directly on the phone. And if we see in the picture that something is incorrect, we can even modify it. In this case, it's already correct. It's a 34223. Quickly check. 34244. Yes, 223. So this key is correctly decoded. And if I want to cut it, I just click on to cut, and will directly transfer to the machine. The code is here. We can say cut key, put in the key blank. So we are skipping the step of decoding it with the machine, and we can decode it quicker. We can just check a few other Volkswagen. And it has identified it, and as we can see now, it might be not correct, or it just might be that the key is a little bit incorrectly inside. So we just go back. I want to do a second time, so I will just make sure a little bit that's a little bit more straight. Because of the head shape, it was a little bit to the side, not aligned perfectly, and then it's a little bit harder to decode. Shouldn't be a big problem. The result I think is the same. I haven't checked it completely, and I want to see for the picture, which should be up there. So it's still a little bit off, but if you can see, it looks correctly. So if this is a 1, this has to be also a 1, which is correct, and the last has to be a 1. So even if the picture is a little bit tilted, the machine still decodes it correctly, and you can see it, it's decoded correctly. So we have that, which is interesting, and I know this might be a problem, is another key I will just quickly get. It's an HU64 for Mercedes. It's interesting because this key, as well as a few others, the profile has some lines like this in here, which will make it hard for the machine to identify the actual cut sometimes, and I hope we can see this. So let's go to all key blanks. Let's say it's HU64, and then we can say okay, identificate again, put in the key, identification. What I can see now is that this one position here, it identified the line as a cut, but if we also check on the key, it shouldn't be the line, it should be down here, the second line we can see here. I hope you can see it good on the recording later. So even though it showed in 1, we can see that it should be normally a 2. If you go down here, this 3 is already too low. So you can check with the picture if it's a really good decoding, and if needed, adjust it. Until now it was only needed for keys like the HU64, where we have the lines which sometimes be mistaken for a cut. Okay, with that I would also say we have shown you this small device. As said before, you can use it in addition to one of the XHorse machines and use it with an app. And yeah, if there are any questions, just put them down in the comments and we will happily answer them or check whatever you want us to check.